everyone. Welcome to this webinar, PD in Your PJs. Today we are focusing on app smashing on a Chromebook, which is going to be amazing. If you are joining a webinar for the very first time, just a couple things to note. If at any time during the webinar you have questions, you can type them in the question box. And we are going to email you the slides and the video recording because you registered for this session. So keep that in mind as well. I'm Angela. I lead the community team here at Seesaw. I am out of my kindergarten classroom where I've been for the last 15 years with kindergartners doing work with Seesaw, among all sorts of other things. So let me know if you have questions, and I'm really excited to have Gina here with us today. She is a phenomenal TOSA that is going to be sharing all sorts of great ideas for things you can do on your Chromebook. And I'm passing the presentation over to Gina right now, and she's going to open the slides on her computer and take us through her presentation. So again, I'm excited to learn from Gina just as much as you are. Gina, we see your screen. It looks awesome. Just go into full screen present mode there, and we'll be all set.
There we go. Hopefully it's loading. Hi, everyone. My name is Gina. Thanks for the great introduction, Angela. Let me see. There we go. I work in the Anaheim Elementary School District. We are a preschool or TK through 6th grade district. We have 24 elementary schools, and we serve over 18,000 students. So we're a pretty big elementary school district. I have been a Seesaw ambassador for about 2 years now, and this is my 19th year in education, and I spent over a dozen years in the classroom, mostly at 4th and 5th grade. And yeah, I'm super excited. We are a Chromebook district. Our kiddos use Chromebooks as well as BYOD devices, so they're allowed to bring in their own devices from home, whether that's a, I don't know, like an iPad or a phone, and they're allowed to use these during class also, so Seesaw works great for that as well. So today we're going to talk specifically about Chromebooks and kind of look at, now that our kiddos have Chromebooks and they have Seesaw on there, what can they do with Seesaw on a Chromebook specifically to app smash? And app smashing can be used a lot of different ways. So basically what that means is that you are using another type of program, another app, and you're going to combine it with Seesaw. So in Seesaw, students have these 6 options that they're able to do in their journal. They can add a photo, video, drawing, add a file, do a note, or a link. So most of our app smashing happens in these 2 areas, the add a file and the link options for the students. So on a Chromebook, we're going to talk about Chromebook apps or Chromebook websites, things that students can access on a Chromebook, which might be different from what they could access on an iPad, say. There's lots of apps you might see around Twitter or you might have heard about and think they're super cool, and Chromebooks work a little bit differently. So they may not all be Chromebook enabled. So today we're only going to focus on those things. So in order to app smash, basically you would first go to that app or the website to create it there, and then either download it somehow, and we'll talk about that in a minute, or get some kind of sharing link. And then the third step is Seesaw, the last part. This is really important when talking about Seesaw and app smashing, well, just Seesaw in general, but in app smashing as well, how Seesaw works with different file types. So this is kind of a handy little Google slide here to kind of reference. So in Seesaw, what students can do depends on the type of file that they're putting in. So when thinking about app smashing, when thinking about having students make or create something, it depends on what that file is ultimately going to be. So on the left-hand side, you'll see PDF files. So in Seesaw, you could get a PDF file from maybe a Google Doc or Google Slides. Usually they're single pages, or maybe they're multiple pages that kind of go down in a big, long PDF file. In Seesaw, if they were to add a PDF, the students have the option of adding audio or a caption like underneath of their little entry. However, in Seesaw, if the file type is like a JPEG or a PNG file, like a photo file, which includes screenshots, which we're going to talk about, they have a lot more options of what they can do in Seesaw. So they can still add the audio and the caption like a PDF, but also they can add drawings or labels. So a lot of times you want to still have them draw or label something, then you want to make sure that the file type that they're putting in to Seesaw is a JPEG or a PNG file. And then right over here at the top, when you add a link, specifically in Seesaw, it allows you to audio record and add a caption in Seesaw. It's kind of treated the same as like a PDF file in terms of capability for Seesaw. So this is also another little handy, little printable, little visual. A lot of people ask me how to take a screenshot on a Chromebook. If your students don't know how to take a screenshot on a Chromebook, it's a handy, quick little skill to have. So basically, if they wanted to take a screenshot of the whole entire screen, of everything that's on the entire page that they're staring at right now, they would press the control button down here, along with this, what's called the page flipper key. The page flipper key is up here in the center, and it actually like splits the screen if you have different windows open. If they press those at the same time, it pops up, it takes a screenshot of it to your clipboard. If you only want to select a certain area for them to screenshot, they would hit Control and Shift, those two at the same time, and then this page flipper key will kind of, darken the screen and have the little crosshairs, and then they'll be able to take a screenshot specifically of something. And really from there, it's like a copy and paste. It goes to their clipboard. It pops up like, do you want to copy this to your clipboard? And then they can paste it, copy and paste. Or it's viewable in the file of the Chromebook, and I'm going to show you that too in a little bit. So basically, on a Chromebook, apps are found in the Chrome Web Store. So I know there's lots of different stores, Microsoft Store and this store and that store, but on a Chromebook, it's the Chrome Web Store. And there's also web-based resources, which are like websites they can app smash with on a Chromebook. Here are a couple. We're going to kind of talk about a bunch today, and kind of it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you want the students to be able to do. But within the Chrome Web Store, you have apps, extensions, and themes. Apps are like apps like you would think on a phone or a tablet. Extensions are something that they're an extension of like the Omni box at the top, the search box in your little window, and it increases the functionality of that web page somehow. And then the themes are the themes of your Chrome settings. So we're going to take a couple of looks at how to access these apps first. For littles, actually for all elementary kids, it helps to have them easily accessible. So you want to use an app, whether it's Seesaw or any other app. How do we find it, and where do we get it to be easily accessible? So what you're seeing here is a screenshot of my desktop. So you can see the wallpaper, and down here is the launcher, this little circle. Used to be like a magnifying glass. And then here are some apps that are pinned down here to the taskbar. I pinned Seesaw right here so that the kids don't have to search for it. You can always say just click down here, click down at the bottom so they know where it's at. So your IT department may be able to push that out and pin it for you. Our IT department and our district can do that. They can pin it remotely for us. If you happen to have devices in your classroom, you want to do it yourself, you would click on the launcher, and if you don't see it right here when it first comes up, you would click the All Apps button, and then all of your apps would show up. And then right here, you would just right-click on whatever app it is, and then choose Pin to Shelf. So I could pin Google Classroom or Seesaw or Padlet, any of these apps that I got from the Chrome Web Store, I could pin it to the shelf so my kids could easily access it, and boom, there it is at the very bottom. Easy peasy. A lot of app smashing on the Chromebook that I get asked a lot about are like photos, like photo collages or different picture, things that they want to do with photos. On the iPad, there are a lot of like photo collage things. They're free, they're quick, they're easy. It just works a little bit differently on a Chromebook. There are, a lot of popular ones like PicMonkey. PicMonkey is only free for 7 days. So in our district, we're not going to pay for apps. We like to do things for free, things that don't charge a membership, or things that choose like a monthly fee or an upgrade free. So PicMonkey, it is free, but only for 7 days. PhotoVizi is another one. That one creates photo collages, but that one's $5 a month. Lupic Collage down here at the bottom is also $5 a month. You can upgrade to Pro, and you can make these little like shapes like this butterfly here. With that $5 a month, you get a higher resolution image, none of their little watermark, a bunch of uploads. So basically, a lot of these, they charge money, or it costs something to upgrade it. So what we have started to use a lot of, which I super love, is Google Drawing. So Google Drawing is just a blank canvas like anything else. So unlike Google Docs, which has the limitations of margins and like the word formatting, Google Drawing is literally just a blank canvas. And so you can see the gray and white checks right here in the screenshot of the Google Drawing. It means it's actually transparent. The file is actually transparent, and you're able to kind of see through it. You can click on File right over here and Page Setup and make your canvas whatever size you wanted it to be. 8.5 by 11, horizontally, vertically. You can change it 11 by 14. You can change this blank canvas any way that you would like. And kids can put as many photos, and they can outline them and cut them into shapes and do all kinds of cool tricks just using Google Drawing, which is free and right in their Google Drive. This little link right here, when you get the slides, you'll be able to click right here and get this little cheat sheet of Google Drawing tools. So this is something you could, print and use yourself, or print and pass out to students, or hang up in your classroom. And it kind of goes over what these tools are to help them create anything that they would want in Google Drawing, which is cheap, free, and easily accessible in Google. With Google Drawing, there are two ways to kind of app smash that. Let's say you made a brochure, you made a collage, you made a poster. If you were to go into Seesaw and click Add a File from this little Google Drive button, they would have the option of recording their voice or adding the caption, because Seesaw automatically transfers that file. It converts the file from your Google Drive into Seesaw. However, with Google Drawing, you're able to control the file type by downloading it first as whatever file type you would like. So if you specifically know that you want your students to go back and add those labels or add a drawing on top of it, which you don't get with the PDF format or the automatic conversion of the file, you can always have your students click File and then Download As, and you can choose JPEG so that it's able to have the other options like drawing and adding labels that you wouldn't get automatically by the automatic Seesaw conversion. This is another fun one. If you haven't done this one yet, it's called WordArt. WordArt.com is a web-based resource that's free. The nice part about this is that students don't need accounts, so you don't have to worry about student privacy and all of the other, student protection laws of student data, because it's just free, no student accounts. They don't need to create an account to be able to make something. And these are word cloud generators. So the nice thing about this is that you can use this for a million things. If you've never used a word cloud generator, you can do like a getting to know you, and they can add, words about themselves. They can do the same thing with character traits. They can make a word cloud about the chapter book character they're reading about. If you do character development traits, kindness month, vocabulary development, poetry, themes in a chapter book, math, you can do all math ones, science, really anything. This is open-ended. It's really, the kids love it, love to do it. And then right up here at the top, they just click download, and you are able to download that as a JPEG as well. So that's really neat, easy, and free, and it kind of looks like this. So when the students go to WordArt, they enter in all these words on the left-hand side, and the more times that word is put in there, the bigger that it shows up, like in terms of importance. So if I want to stress something, I would put that word more times. You can change all of the colors, the angles, everything. It's really user-friendly. It might look a little daunting right here, but the kids don't have to change any of these things. They just type in their word list down here. Next word, next word, next word, and just hit, enter, 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 and make their long list of words. Then they choose a shape. So you saw the other one was in the shape of a heart, and this one I made in the shape of a globe. It automatically does that for you. And the colors, the green and the blue, it came out automatic. It already does that. You can choose the font. You can choose the layout if you only want the words to go vertically or horizontally, if you don't want them sideways. You get to customize all of that, and then you can click download, and then you have a JPEG that you can then put into Seesaw. And then you can have students record their voice and explain why they chose those words. If they're character traits, they can explain why they chose those character traits, how it relates, give evidence from the book. There's lots of different things that they can do once it's in Seesaw. Canva is another one. So Canva's free, kind of, except they limit the free version. So you get 2 folders in which to organize your designs. You get 1 gigabyte of storage, and you can upload your own images. But then there is a paid version, like with everything else, and that's $12.95 a month. So that's a little much. But on the free version, you can click here and you can make, it's basically like templates, a bunch of different templates. So whereas Google Drawing gives you free range and you don't really have a starting point unless you pushed the students a template of your own, here you do have a starting point. Like if you wanted them to create an invitation to a party from the book that they're reading, they could create one there. They can create, flyer based on their science topic. They can create a poster based on math. They create it right here within Canva, which is nice. And then when they're finished, right here, they would click download, and then again, you get to choose their file type. It would come out as a PDF unless you click and change it. And if you wanted them to add the drawing or you wanted them to add the labels, then you would choose JPEG. And they would upload that into Seesaw and then be able to do the same thing. Record their voice, explain why, explain the connection, give evidence. Another one for Chromebook that is a fun tool is called Powtoon. So you may have seen Powtoon in a bunch of different ways. So it works a little bit differently on a Chromebook. There is a free version. So with the free version, you get 100 megabytes storage. You get some certain styles, like pre-made styles, templates that they have for you in Powtoon. It's basically a way to make a presentation, like an interactive presentation that's like animated. But the difference is with the free version, you can't download it as like an MP4 that would play like a movie clip would. You can only export it as a PDF or a PowerPoint are the 2 options in Powtoon for free. And then you have a maximum length of 5 minutes for their free version. They do have different levels of paid versions, starting at $19 a month, going all the way up, $15 a month, or like if your organization paid for it, it's coming soon for almost $300 a month for your organization. So it kind of looks like this. The kids can sign up. This is the Powtoon. They can click Google if your students have a Google sign-in. And then they can create from right here. They can start a new one or build, a story from scratch, choose a template that they wanted to choose. It kind of looks like this. On the left-hand side would be their different slides, but they're a little more animated. If you haven't seen a Powtoon, they play more like a movie. So this is actually a template, and all I did was type in the words. And so you can see down here at the bottom how it would play like a movie. The difference in App Smashing and with Seesaw is that it wouldn't be able to transfer over into an actual moving clip, like an actual moving movie, because it would download as a PDF, more like a long slide. You'll see when you choose to download it that the MP4 option right here says Pro. That's the paid version, so that is not available. You'd have the PDF or a PowerPoint option. You could also share it when you click to share it. Just kind of like a little caveat or a word of warning is that when you do choose to share it, if you're sharing this out in any way, it makes that Powtoons public. So in terms of like student safety and privacy, whatever your district policy is, just to know that when you do choose to share Powtoons with the free version, it makes it by default public, just so you know. LucidChart is another one. So LucidChart has an education version as well. And similar to Canva, it has different templates. So it has, different templates that you're able to make, posters, brochures, flyers, menus, postcards, that kind of stuff. You can download this as well. With the free version, again, you're kind of limited. You can download them as a PNG or a JPEG, which would have those extra options in Seesaw, or you could download as a PDF. With a free version, you get a 3-page maximum. So if you're having your students create like a magazine layout or multiple pages in a brochure, just know ahead of time to limit it to 3 pages, because if it's more than that, it would get cut off, that they wouldn't get all of their pages. If you do have multiple pages, when it downloads a little bit different in a way that your students may or may not be familiar with on a Chromebook, but it downloads as a zip file. So it doesn't look exactly the same. You have to then go into the zip file and extract it before you would upload it into Seesaw. This is a little fun Chrome app. If you haven't delved into this, this is really a neat thing. It's called Number Pieces. So this is an app you can get from the Chrome Web Store that's free, and it utilizes all of the little number manipulatives, virtual math manipulatives, if your math program doesn't have it on an online version. And students can click and drag their math blocks and change the color. So I can make my counters, here's my flat, I can leave it yellow, or down here, change it to green or red, and then show my work over here because I can use a pen, an interactive pen. You could also use the drawing feature in Seesaw if you're going to do that. The neat thing is that students can create virtually here. There isn't necessarily a download feature in here. Students would take a screenshot. So the nice part is teaching them how to take a screenshot pays off dividends repeatedly kind of throughout the year as you use different things. This is a really neat interactive tool. So they would create their math part in number pieces by showing their little manipulatives. Then they would take the screenshot. Then in Seesaw, they would select it from the computer right here, and it would show up in their downloads. So it would just show up, here's their screenshot, and then they would be able to add the voice, add a caption, explain their thinking in Seesaw. And this is what it looks like. Once it's in Seesaw, they would have their image, and then they would be able to have all of these options that Seesaw provides. They can draw on top of it. They can add their labels. They could then, add, these are my 10s, this is my 1s. Here's a little fun one too. This is a web-based resource called Make Beliefs Comics, which is kind of like a storyboard that, if you've used that before, it's a way to make comics on your own. They have little templates that you can use, and little backgrounds that you can choose, and little characters, and you can manipulate all those different things, little speech bubbles, and it's kind of a little more scaffolded than having students create their own comic like in Google Drawing. And so they also have the option of downloading this or saving it. So after they've created their little comics, they would click Save Image to Disk. And then once they've saved it, they select it again from their computer in Seesaw, and then they have the option to read their comic out loud with the voice feature of Seesaw. They write their little caption underneath of it, and it's fun and interactive. Kids can use it for, again, vocabulary, story, components, theme. It's really interactive and super fun. I know that a lot of students use Scratch. The nice part that I like about being able to App Smash is adding especially that voice layer in Seesaw, because a lot of we don't get that component a lot for every student to be able to share their voice and explain why they did something, how it works. In Scratch, if students are doing coding by the scratch.mit.edu website, there's actually a sharing link that they can get once they've made their presentation public. They've shared it. So in order to share their work, they need their accounts to be verified, and then they can share it out and get this little embed link right down here. They just click embed, and then they can copy this link and then put that in Seesaw. And the nice part is they're able to share that out in their portfolio as well. Their Seesaw's digital portfolio, even though it's a coding piece of work, it would take them right to that. I know I'm like running out of time. I'm going to try to be fast. This is just a little quick shout out to Flippity. I'm not sure if you've ever seen or used Flippity. This is actually an add-on. So this you would get by going in your Google Drive to your Sheets, Google Sheets, and then clicking at the top add-on. And you can get Flippity. It's free. It's an add-on that enables you to make like interactive flashcards from a template, like a Google Sheets template. So right here, let's say I wanted to make little interactive flashcards. All I have to click is this template below the Flippity flashcard, and it will take me to a Google Sheets template, and I can just plug in my words and the answers even the color of the note card and the color of the answers, and it will create that automatically. Or, a little quiz show, a random name picker like the students in your class. If you're doing digital badging, crosswords, bingo, anything, it's really interactive and fun and free, because we like free. And then the last thing really quick, I know I'm running out of time, is a lot of people ask how to add emojis on a Chromebook, since this is a lot of like app smashing with a Chromebook. These slides are just kind of put there for reference, I guess, at the end. If you wanted to add emojis to your folders in Seesaw, have students add emojis to any of their folders in Seesaw or their assignments in Seesaw, you would have to go into the settings, clicking on your name at the bottom right-hand corner, and then click on this little cog for the settings. And it's actually in the advanced settings, so you'd have to scroll down to find advanced. And it's in the accessibility here and managing the on-screen keyboard. So you'd follow these steps with the red boxes to enable the on-screen keyboard. And then right here where it says the US keyboard, down below it real tiny is this little emoji face. So you can actually enable that emoji face so that you would have access to put those in from a Chromebook as well. So super fast and furious, but 30 minutes, and I know I wanted to leave some time for questions at the end, right, Angela? So I'm hoping maybe you have some questions.
Yeah, we'll take just about 2 minutes. If you do have questions for Gina, you can just type them into the question box, and I will ask her live. We'll try to get through as many as we can. So if we don't get to yours live here, no worries. Gina's got her contact information on the screen right here. A couple questions that have already come in. Yes, you are getting these amazing slides emailed to you, and yes, you will also get this recording. So if you just couldn't listen to it once and you want more, you can watch Gina at your leisure when you get the recording, because you registered for this session. So, all right, a couple questions we have time to dig into. Let's see. Sandy wants to know, can Canva be used by students under age 18? Ooh, specific. Do you know, Gina?
Canva?
Yeah.
Well, with any of these apps, or with anything that you use in your district, like I know our district has an app approval policy. We have a certain form that we have to fill out, and there are certain requirements. It has less to do with the user and more to do with the student information and whether or not they adhere to, FERPA or COPPA legal requirements for users. So it depends on, how they store student data. That's why some of the ones that I mentioned don't. You don't have to have a student account for that. So it depends on your district's policy, and I would check into their privacy policy, which is what you want to check and look for. If it has a Google sign up, it's not necessarily by age, but it's by your district, whether or not they would allow certain apps to even be used, or whether those apps are blocked. Your IT department would be able to help if certain things were not available for your students. They might be able to push those out. But I would say it has to do with your district's privacy policy.
Perfect. Just a couple questions just to clarify. So everything that Gina has talked about today and shared today can go into Seesaw. So basically, when you're thinking about, gosh, what can go into Seesaw? How can I use Seesaw to share? Anything that you're using digitally that can save a link, can save as a JPEG or an image that your kids can take a screenshot of, or that saves as a video, can go into Seesaw. So as she showed at the beginning, there were a couple slides where she was showing on a Chromebook using the add file tool is a great way, and link. So that's how she's getting all of these things from the Chromebook and these different apps just to go to Seesaw. So if you're in Seesaw, the key is just your students start with that green add button, and then they can choose add file, or they can choose add link from the work that they're doing. Gina, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think the biggest key is that even though students would create these items in something else, whether it's Canva or Pic Collage or anything, the Seesaw layer that it adds is for students to be able to explain their thinking and lend their voice to it, that they wouldn't be able to do independently just by making, word art, or just by making a photo collage. Yep. So Seesaw also enables them to stick it.
Exactly. They're just adding that layer. They're adding that layer of reflection, like you're saying, but also I think too, that it's able to share with families. You know, I just remember so many things being stuck on devices in our classroom that no one else would see. And they're doing great work. So Gina, we are out of time for today. And I know there's tons of questions that are sitting there that are not yet answered. So if you feel free to reach out to Gina, I'm sure she's more than happy to chat. And you can also reach out to us on Twitter at Seesaw. So thanks everyone for coming today. And Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.